Well, folks, Mark Esper, Donald Trump's former defense secretary, has his new book that comes out tomorrow. As I said in a video over the weekend, I encourage everybody to not buy it, which I know sounds weird, but please don't waste your money on this. Because the big bombshells from the book, of course, come out before it's released, because you got to drum up some excitement about what's going to be there. And I'll get into, for anybody who didn't see it, why I don't think you should buy this book in just a moment. But anyway, another revelation that I want to talk about, and then hopefully we can put this book to bed forever, is the fact that Donald Trump, as I talked about last week, because it was revealed in the book last week, wanted to shoot Black Lives Matter protesters during the George Floyd protests in the summer of 2020. And of course, the top military brass, they were meeting with him in the White House. Mike Pence was there, and yes, that is relevant to the story. And they told him, no, you can't do that. So according to Mark Esper in his new book, that is when Trump snapped at the entire group and said, language warning here, folks, "You're losers! You're all fucking losers!" And then Esper continues, "He repeated the foul insults again, this time directing his venom at the vice president as well, who sat quietly, stone-faced, in the chair at the far end of the semicircle closest to the rose garden. I never saw him yell at the vice president before, so this really caught my attention. Trump shouted, 'None of you have any backbone to stand up to the violence,' and suggested we were fine with people, quote, burning down our cities. He was waiting, it seemed, for one of us to yield and simply agree. That wasn't going to happen." Well, good on you for finally showing a backbone and standing up to this man when he wanted to shoot people for exercising their First Amendment rights. And of course, as we all know, there were no cities that were burned to the ground. That is a common Republican talking point about the 2020 protests that unfortunately has no bearing for them whatsoever in reality. But they continue saying it because people still believe it, because people are stupid, especially those who follow Republicans. But that's that. So he yelled at Mike Pence specifically. After calling out the whole room, Mike Pence sitting over there in the corner, stone-faced, getting yelled at, berated by this ridiculous man-child because he's, I guess, not okay with shooting protesters. And to be clear, Esper points out, when Trump was talking about shooting protesters, he meant like shoot him in the leg. That is specifically what Trump said. Like, just shoot him in the leg or something. As if, yeah, nobody's ever died from a gunshot to the leg. Yeah, as if no police officer has ever missed a shot when aiming for a different part of the body. Yeah, that's totally... A shot to the leg can 100% be lethal. You can also cause permanent damage to these individuals, ruining the rest of their lives, of course, for doing nothing more than exercising their First Amendment rights. Now, nobody has a right to, deface property and destroy property. Sure, I'll give you that. But here's the thing. These things were not widespread. The destruction of property, the looting that Republicans love to talk about. In fact, there's so little evidence that any of that actually happened from any of these protesters that I think, what is the rate? Like 97% of the people arrested have been released without ever being charged, and police say they're not going to charge them because they have no evidence that any of these individuals did anything. So sure, there was a handful of people out there doing things they ought not be doing that were in fact illegal. The rest of these people were arrested for exercising their First Amendment rights and released later on with no charges because they did nothing wrong. But still, Trump wanted to shoot these people, and because I guess Mike Pence didn't, Mike Pence drew his wrath. And as we all know, it was pretty much at that point that Mike Pence began his downward slope of falling out of Donald Trump's favor. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.